It's now time for Fortenbaugh or Fulghum. Very clever way. Old picture, though, we'll say. We got to update it with the stash, but we don't know how long you're going to keep that anyway.
Versatile. That one looks good. This one looks good. You got a lot of variety to choose from in this segment. It's very, very appealing.
That you do. Give us your first pick.
All right, so you know how this works. I'm going to give you 3 of my favorites.
Yep,
if you're with me, you're Fortenbaugh. If you're against me, you're Fulghum. We begin out west. Afternoon game, Seattle. We're going to lay the 6 against Denver. Bo Nix could be a great quarterback one day. I don't know. A lot remains to be seen. What I do know is he's playing behind a suspect offensive line with a questionable supporting cast in the arsenal on the road against the 12th man in Seattle for his first career start. No thanks. I think the Seattle offense right here is going to be a lot better than people realize. Ryan Grubb comes over as the offensive coordinator from the University of Washington. He's going to modernize that wide receiver unit. Mike McDonald, the new head coach, comes over from Baltimore. We saw what he did with the Ravens defense. He's going to get these guys up to snuff. I think this has blowout potential. Fortenbaugh or Fulghum, Seattle -6.
What a clever way to just continue to get your name over and over. Fortenbaugh
what the
on this
public wants.
one. Fortenbaugh on this
Smart.
one. I didn't want to start the segment in a bad way, but nonetheless, I do agree with you. I would lay the points here. Bo Nix, I expect him to struggle just because he is a rookie quarterback, and rookie quarterbacks struggle in their first start typically. And on top of that, I mean, this is a team that is the second worst odds, or second lowest odds, I should say, to have the worst record. So I don't expect much from the Denver Broncos whatsoever, especially in game one. I do think Seattle will be able to cover the 6 points.
Well said. You're learning.
What's your pick number 2?
Pick number 2, we know you'll agree with this one. It's the Cowboys, it's the Browns. We're going under 40.5, a little bit of a total here. As we know, Cleveland last year at home, #1 scoring defense, 13 points per game. They return just about everybody. Mike Vrabel steps into the fold as a consultant, which is going to help Jim Schwartz's unit as well. That's bad news for a Cowboys outfit that has problems along the offensive line and with their running back position top down. CeeDee Lamb is there, but he reported late. Now, speaking of questions, you go to Cleveland side, they've got offensive line issues. They've got running back issues. I doubt head coach Kevin Stefanski wants to throw the ball 45 times with Deshaun Watson and his shoulder. So we're going under 40.5. Are you Fortenbaugh or Fulghum?
I'm going to Fulghum on this one, but it's hard to make a case when you have 2 great defenses and 2 suspect offenses. But this is tied for the lowest total on the board, and I kind of feel like it might just slightly go over. All you need is like a field goal or something like that at the very end to just push it over the edge. It's just very low. Maybe they surprise us to some extent, but also I just can't agree with you on everything. So I'm going to go Fulghum on that one. Last pick,
not
number 3.
Not be tolerated, but we continue and forge ahead, much like they did on the Oregon Trail. Game number 3, we go to Florida. Jacksonville +3.5 against the Miami Dolphins. I think Jacksonville is one of the most undervalued teams coming into the season. 2 years ago under Doug Peterson, they go to the playoffs. They beat the Chargers. Things are looking great. They come back last year. They start 8-3, and then they go into the tank. And everyone's forgotten about them. Still a pretty talented team. They upgraded the offensive line and the wide receiver unit this offseason. They addressed the cornerback position. The heat in Miami is not going to bother Jacksonville. They're practicing in Florida anyway.
Fair.
Big defensive issues for the Dolphins. Some potential injuries there that could hurt them tomorrow. Jags +3.5. Half the market's moving to 3 here, so we've got the hook. Are you Fortenbaugh or Fulghum? You're Fortenbaugh. Tyler, back to you.
I'm Fortenbaugh on this one.
Nice.
I agree with you. For some reason, though, you love to just pick these AFC South teams. You have like a weird fixation on them. Is it a Doug Peterson thing? There's something about you always taking the Jags.
And you know what? Since you bring that up, and it's a good point, I consistently lose picking AFC South
That's what I was
teams
going to say. Not to call you out, but I do agree with you. Take the hook while you can still get the hook.
Not to call you out, but.
Not to call you out on national TV, but
I should have probably
agree with you.
Flew, I should say, over the total. So did the Ravens. Chief didn't fly over, but remember this trend we were talking about the last few years? Week 1 unders, now 2-0 to the over. Should we consider that for Sunday's slate?
I would not wait that game because it was in Brazil and that field was terrible. I think that's very important. The other game landed 47. It was 47.5. Went to 46.5. It's right on that key number. So interesting. We talked about this, though. Look at the average total this week. We only had one higher than 49 points, which is the Sunday night game. Right. I think this is cooked into the line. So, I mean, even that Charger-Raider game, which was 40.5, that's down to like 39 now.
That was 43.5 in the summer. I mean, everything has plummeted, so.
Well, everyone hears the same trends.
Seeing those trends?
They tune into this show and they see it.
Ooh, look at that lip sweater.
It's nice.
Tasty.
Robust.
So we got a segment called Surviving the Stash. You can read. Joe Tell us why around this time of year you grow that thing and copy Taylor Lewan's style.
I hate you, and I also. Whoa!
Whoa!
Back it up.
Whoa!
Camera 3.
Wait,
Back it up.
I'm
a married man, okay? Easy. There we go. Let the people get a taste of the whole thing. We grow this every year on vacation, mainly because I hate shaving. We have to shave every day for this job. So let it all come in, leave the stash because I find it to be humorous. I don't think it looks good. But then we keep the mustache through football season and we tie it to the Survivor pick. Every week the Survivor team advances, the mustache stays. If, for example, my pick this week loses, the mustache will be shaved off. Probably on the show. We'll do some bit or something. But that'll happen next week.
Watch what you promise. Watch what you promise. Tyler can shave it.
I've already done it on the show 2 years in a row.
I know
I haven't
you
gotten a
have.
chance to
I've
shave
been on
it,
this
though,
show.
so
I'm just saying.
Maybe that's the new wrinkle. Donate to Locks
good.
of Love.
I don't want you. If I would like a meal prepared, I'll come to you. I know you know. I don't
What
want
would
you
you
touching
do?
my face.
You don't want me
I
with
would
a
want you
razor
nowhere near
your
You
face.
are a disaster.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. But,
All right.
So now that we have.
Joe has more pictures in this show than anybody else. I swear. This man is
Market
so
research.
narcissistic.
Market research. We're looking for ratings. This is what rates. I'm not the one who makes the rules. All right, so we need a pick, right?
Yeah, there we go. That's
All right, get to a pick. All right, so here we go. So the contest I'm in has over 13,000 entries. So we got to deploy a little bit of game theory. If we take Cincinnati like the rest of the world is taking, that strategy is not going to pay off long term. Got to think outside the box. You got to zig while the world zags. You got to be crazy, but crazy like a fox. It's the New Orleans Saints this week. What? How can you take the New Orleans Saints? They stink. They're playing Carolina. Carolina has no pass rush. They're not going to be able to take advantage of the New Orleans weakness on the offensive line. But more importantly, everyone down on New Orleans, fine. They're not going to be great this year. They do have a new offensive coordinator. Yeah. Clint Kubiak comes over from San Francisco. That offense is going to be better. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be a sweat. But New Orleans does not play on Thanksgiving, does not play on Christmas. That's very important because my Survivor League is 20 weeks, not 18. Factors in the 2 holidays. The Saints are the play. It's going to be a sweat.
Oh, man, I love this for you, Joe. I got a call from my mom the other morning. Should I go with the Bengals Survivor? I was like, call Joe. But I didn't give her your number.
Don't
so I
call
didn't
Joe.
want you,
Historically,
I didn't want you to
I'm very bad in these contests. I shaved it for week 1 2 years ago, and last year I only made it, I don't even think I got to October.
I'll say this.
There was a barber who came in and did it, remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Lined him up real good.
It's very awkward being shaved while hosting a show. But we did it.
And just,
1 week that was. Thank you, San
That
Francisco.
Panthers offense should be a lot better, but they leveraged
Agreed.
all of their defensive talent to make it better, so maybe an easier path for Derek Carr and the Saints offense.